Welcome everybody to another episode of Anime Lounge Short Flights. Today we're going to be covering episode 4 of Jobless Reincarnation. Thank you, Bryce, for joining us in this episode. As always, make sure to check out the Animaze Show on Facebook and Instagram. He does an amazing job giving us all that awesome anime content.
We try our hardest.
Can you just kind of remind us what happened in this episode real fast?
Yeah. So kind of at this point, 2 years have passed since, I believe, the Sarah incident. And the stories of Quagmire Rudius are still going throughout all of the northern continent. We find ourselves in a bar with Rudius, and he sitting there eating, listening to some people sing about him, and a blonde elf just kind of jumps into the bar and goes right up to him and is like, "I finally found you." We learned that her name is Elenice, and she was a part of Paul's party and had a message for Rudius. She doesn't quite give it to him right away, but she does inform him that his mother is safe, and they found her down in one of the southern continents, I believe, as a now labyrinth adventurer. And then, Rudius wasn't sure if she was into him or not, because, I mean, as soon as she jumped up to him, she was like right in his face, very lustful and everything. And then, it was pretty good. And then next thing we see is she kind of sticks around. They time skip a little bit more through that, and you see her pretty much getting with everybody. And about that time, you see Rudius training up all his muscles, getting working out, getting swole. Everything's starting to look good. Then he gets a letter from the Magic University in Renoa to be a special student there. So he goes around to find out more about what a special student is. And when he goes and speaks with an adventurer in that area that went there and didn't get too far along in there, but explained to him what the special student was. So it was pretty much just the school being able to promote, hey, this student was here. You could be this good, even though maybe they can't. But Rudius isn't sure if he wants to go still. Well, key in man god thing. He kind of shows up again, and we get this Japan version of Rudius again, and we see them kind of going back and forth. And Rudius thinks that he's really proud, that he'd be a real proud student for Roxy. And the man god's like, I don't know if you would be. Yeah, you trained up your muscles, but your magic isn't there yet. And then he kind of tells him, you should really go. It'll fix your ED problem in a roundabout way. So we kind of end the episode with Elenice and Rudius traveling down to the Magic University. And once they arrive, we kind of see shots of Sylphie, the Princess Ariel, just a bunch of characters that we've seen kind of in the past showing up now. So it's going to be interesting. I'm kind of curious how this arc's going to be.
Yeah, I am too. I'm glad they kind of put a bow on everything. No longer need to search for his mom. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know when Lance and I were talking about season 1, we're like, what do we expect for season 2? We thought we were going to get a full deep dive of him going to save his mom. Not, obviously don't need to. So perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Works out.
Oh, yeah.
Man God does an amazing job of being like, hey, you can fix your small problem you got going on. Go to school.
Yep.
Makes sense. That's obviously something Rudy needs to get fixed for his own self. And he did it in a way that was more than just, I think Rudy kind of just gave into the fact that, this is kind of going to be what it is. But he played into his love of Roxy saying, yes, you can still use magic, but you really haven't grown in, 4 or 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And she's the king water user. I think that's like one of the high,
In class.
yeah, king class. So I think that's the highest next to God. I think that's the next tier.
I think
If I
so.
remember, it's been years since, so it's been a while. I don't remember the classes. I think that's one of the higher ones. Well, I
Yep.
know it's
If
one of the
I
higher ones. I
remember
just
the king class was one of the highest ones, which I mean, Rudius puts his mind to it. He could definitely be king class if he wants to be.
Yeah, he could probably be king class in everything if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And they did such a good job of being like, here's that storyline. Done. Don't need to worry about it. All these other subplots that you thought we needed to get into, door closed. This is what we need to
Mm-hmm.
actually get into.
Yeah. I'm definitely intrigued into what we're gonna see, especially with them going to the Magic University. I mean, it definitely was one of those things in the first season we saw Sylphie and Rudius talking about being a dream of theirs. So hopefully we see them back together there and maybe competing that dream together.
Yeah, I'm curious if we find out how long they've been there, because the princess and Sylphie and the other guard, I think, were all in uniform.
Yeah.
So had they been there for like a year, 2 years, 6 months? Did they just get there before Rudy got there, and they're basically in the same year? It'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting to find out how that works out.
Yeah. And I mean, it really sounds like episode 5, we should be able to find that out. And hopefully it'll kind of draw us near what we're expecting to see throughout this entire season.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I will say, hopefully the animation gets a little bit better. I noticed a little bit of some pieces. So I don't know if it's rushing, and that's just kind of gonna be what we get for the season. If that is, I'll take it, because the story by itself is so good.
Yes.
Just
The
a slight
story is what
disappointment.
really makes this anime versus the animation. It's not like Demon Slayer. It's kind of like, yin yang. You either get really good storyline or you get really good animation. Can't have
Yeah,
both.
yeah, it's really hard to get both. I get it. Season 1 was just top tier, so I'm holding it to that standard. If this was season 1, I'd just say it's fine, and
Hmm.
it'd be meh. I would get around it. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. I did find the killing of the dragon really cool. How he did it himself, so we can tell
Yeah.
he has definitely progressed in his strength and his magic use.
Oh, for sure. I mean, why else would the Magic University be inviting him as a special student? I mean, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that. He doesn't need to pay for it anymore. Basically, everything he was trying to do when he was with Eris was to get money to go to the school. The catastrophe happens, obviously flush that down the toilet, and here
Hmm.
we are. He's still getting his essentially dream that he had when he was a kid.
Oh, for sure. It's interesting to see, and I guess we'll see how the next episode goes, and just how everything else goes. Like and follow. Make sure you come on the Anime Show. Check out all the upcoming news that we're putting out. Any new memes, anything like that. And as always, interact with our stuff. That's what really helps us in the end, is getting that engagement. So hey, we get some, we lose some. Come check us out. Get us more.
Yes, please help us out, and help yourself out. So have a good one, everyone.